Hello, everybody. It's all downhill after this episode because this is the best movie we're ever going to review. Empire Strikes Back. We're here at Laser Brains. I'm your co-host, Mike L. And as always, I'm joined by
Joshua Mervell. Can you guys believe that twist? I didn't see that coming.
Well,
neither did I.
And neither did George Lucas. We'll talk about that later. But as always, we're joined by Champ Ian.
Hey, bittersweet this one. As good as it is, and knowing that nothing will ever be able to match it.
That's true. I know. Someone said earlier, what can you say about Empire Strikes Back that has not been said before? Well, I found out a fun fact last week, and I bet you never knew this, and I'm not kidding. Did you know that George Lucas got the idea to make Darth Vader Luke's father from like a dinner party with his buddy? Or it was like, I wish I knew who it was. It was like a writer or a friend or a fellow filmmaker whose name I don't know was like, you know, it'd be a good idea. And he pitched the idea and Lucas was like, that's actually pretty good. And he used it.
Was this prior to A New Hope, or was this?
No, this was after New Hope. Like
Is that true?
100%. That person had seen New Hope and was like, well, based on what I see, this is my idea for what can happen. And Lucas used it. Yeah, he did not think of it.
I don't know why I thought that.
That's interesting.
That was part of it when it was one big like.
No. That's why in A New Hope, that's why he's Obi-Wan says, a pupil of mine, Darth Vader, betrayed and murdered your father, because that was the story.
Right.
And then when they filmed Empire Strikes Back, they originally had David Prowse say, no, Obi-Wan killed your father. That was the twist. And that's what all the actors thought the twist was. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that part because I knew that it was supposed to be a secret.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't know that it was also a secret to George Lucas.
Exactly. Well,
and that's interesting too, because as I think Ian said today to me, that the twist didn't surprise him because he speaks a little German, and Vader being the German word for father.
True. This is true.
That's why I'm confused as to like how it was not planned already.
Yeah.
It's just what I heard. It's just what I heard.
No,
okay?
Mike. Okay,
now,
okay.
The other thing that I heard that is confirmed because I've seen the article is that like a year before this movie came out, some newspaper in like San Francisco did an interview with David Prowse, and they're like, "Oh, so what's the next? Star Wars 2? What's that going to be about? There's going to be a new character called Boba Fett. And then you find out Darth Vader's Luke's father, and then there's like a fight with like a Wampa, and like he completely spoiled the movie, but because this is pre-internet." It just got buried.
Really?
Yeah. And then they never let him do an interview again, ever. And somehow it came out.
How did he even know? Because apparently...
Well, because they'd already looped the dialogue by that point.
But he wasn't the voice.
No, you're right. Right.
And on set, he even said... He didn't say the line. He said...
No, I know that.
Right,
That's what we just said. But he's the one that... But he must have seen the final cut.
Either that or James Earl Jones is like, hey, Dave, on the phone. Like, hey.
Can you believe
something?
what
Because, because even Harrison Ford didn't know until the
opening
screening.
Night? Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Can
So we
you
have
imagine
conflicting
that?
reports here.
Yeah, Mark Hamill tells this story. He on like some talk show or something about how when that happened, Harrison Ford leaned over to him like, "Hey, kid, you never told me that."
Nice.
Yeah.
I got to point out one thing before we continue on about this movie. There's only two huge twists in any Star Wars history. One is finding out Luke is Vader's father, and the second is finding out Luke was a projection the whole time, and that's in The Last Jedi, the movie that everybody shits on. That's awesome. But anyway,
we're talking about Ray Palpatine wasn't a big twist for you.
Well, that's a whole other story. We'll talk about that another time.
Oh, okay.
But okay, we'll talk about growing up. Okay, I've said this before really quick. I saw New Hope when it was on TV.
Yeah.
Then I saw Jedi in the theater. And I didn't see Empire for a couple years later because there was no way to see it. So my cousin leaned over on opening night of Jedi and said, "Oh yeah, by the way, in Empire you find out Vader's Luke's father." Okay, fine, ready, go. We watched the movie, right? And growing up, I always thought Empire was kind of the weak link. And then as I got older, teenager or whatever, it started to become very clear that Empire was the best one.
Absolutely it is. But I can also see how younger you might consider it to be the weak link.
Sure.
All the stuff that happens on Dagobah is very slow, very methodical, very introspective, philosophical. It's a little heady for a kid.
It is.
And I could see a kid finding that boring. And I probably would have found it boring myself had I seen it when I was a kid, and I didn't. It was kind of the same situation as you. I saw New Hope on TV at some point.
Sure.
I saw a Return of the Jedi on TV at some point, but I just never saw Empire until I was maybe 18, 19 years old. Yeah.
And what did you think of it when you first saw it?
My mind was blown.
Okay.
My mind was absolutely blown. And my opinion of it has only gotten more and more and more impressive.
Me too.
After every time you watch it, you find some little detail.
I'm with you.
And a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing now, it's all related to the production and specifically the special effects, which I think are some of the best practical special effects that have ever been created.
I agree.
Yeah, we'll talk about
effects later.
The effects.
Yeah.
My first Star Wars movie was Jedi, and that's why it's one of my favorites.
Sure.
Because it like sparked that love of Star Wars in me for sure. And I don't think I just was in awe of visually everything.
Yeah.
And I had the VHS tape and didn't know what Roman numerals were. So I just grabbed one. I just grabbed one of them and and it was Jedi.
Yeah.
And
who's Vi? Episode Vi.
Yeah. So then I figured out the order at some point, probably asked somebody in my family, and then went back and so I don't remember being spoiled about the twist, like the Vader being his father. So I do kind of remember that revelation like dawning on me in Empire still.
I remember being a little kid and getting on the bus with Dan Apostolofsky and him saying, I remember at one point I thought that Vader was Luke's father. And I was like, yeah, he is his father. And then he said, well, then why does he fight Luke? And it was one of those like, I don't know. And then I remember same person I had a conversation with, and we were confused. Why were the good guys called rebels when growing up in the 80s, there were real rebels in South America and in Eastern Europe, and they were the bad guys. And this is why Star Wars is awesome, because it opens your eyes to these ideas. When you're growing up in the West.
These woke ideas.
Yes, these woke ideas. You're growing up, in the Western world, and you have a kind of a fixated view on the way the world is. And in a movie like Star Wars, which is what Lucas's purpose was to have fairy tales for modern people. And that's what it is. And like you said, these are heady ideas. And despite what some of my film professors might think, these are great movies. And even if they're aimed mainly at a 12-year-old, here we are 40 and 50 and 30, and they still hold up and they're still great. Right?
It's unbelievable. My favorite scene probably in all of Star Wars is in this movie, and it is on Dagobah. It's the X-Wing being rising up from the swamp and
music. Oh my god!
So it's not Yoda's little butt. That's not your.
That's great. No, it's so. There's so much going on. There's so much that we're learning, and all of these like ideas being thrown at us, and it's being told to us by this little puppet.
Yeah,
and it's like
and we're buying
so
every word.
Real in the moment. The moment where Yoda grabs Luke's
not this.
It's
luminous beings
so
are better.
It's so real.
Yes.
The foam of the puppet is flesh in that moment. Like
I know.
It's the acting in it, the script, how it's shot, the music. Like that's my favorite piece of the score in all of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like that Force theme is just
incredible.
Every time I watch it, I get like choked up.
Me too.
Like
Me too.
The hairs on the back of my neck are standing up. I've got tears in my eyes. Like it's everything that Star Wars is to me. Like it's just these moments that are so alive. This movie means a lot to me. And that scene in particular.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And the little knowledge that Yoda is tossing out in these little snippets, but every snippet is so profound.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. That's why you failed.
Oh.
I remember watching that with my mother and her just being like, like it hits you. It hits you. And it's like, oh yeah, I'll give it a try. No. do or do not. There is no try. And again, that makes you stop in your tracks. And then another one that's not philosophical, but my favorite line in the whole movie probably is when he says, I'm ready. I'm not afraid. And you will be. Because that, which we talked about before, is more frightening than anything you see in the prequels. Because just the fact that, wait a minute, he is the Jedi Master and he's afraid, that's enough to make me afraid. And when Obi-Wan says, if you face Vader, I can't help you. And that's a great thing for a protagonist to be like, listen, you are on your own. We're telling you to go left and you're going right. Like you could maybe save your friends, but you're going to destroy everything they worked for.
Well, it also has to do with Luke's belief in the Force, right? The reason why he can't raise the X-Wing is because he doesn't believe he can.
Right.
And that's why he has all of this fear inside of him, because he doesn't believe that he can use the Force. He doesn't believe that it's there with him. And he goes to confront Vader and he's not ready. That's what makes it so great. He's not ready.
And that is when he does confront Vader, that's my favorite lightsaber fight in the entire series. And he's giving it his all. And Vader's just one hand.
One freaking hand. You're right. All these people that talk about Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, how great the lightsaber fights are. I don't give a shit about any of them. Yeah. There is so much backstory and subtext to everything that's going on in this lightsaber fight. The dialogue, right? And
lightsaber fights are not about lightsaber fights.
Right.
It's about the emotional states of the people having the lightsaber fight. It's about the dynamic between the two of them. It's about the power dynamic between the two of them. And it's the fact that Darth Vader, no matter how much Luke thinks that he's ready, no matter how much he thinks he's trained, he's in nowhere near strong enough, nowhere near confident enough to handle this. And Vader's just like, and he's not showing off either. And this is something else about the later films that rubs me the wrong way about the lightsaber fights, is it's showy. A lot of dancing around, a lot of flipping around. No, just and he puts him in his place.
That's a great point.
And I don't mind the showiness of the prequel
I don't
lightsaber
hate
fights.
them, but
like, they're fun. But the thing is, like, Duel of the Fates, I understand the stakes of what's happening here, right? Like, this fight is what determines whether Anakin is a Jedi or turns to the dark side at the end. Like, I get what it is, but that's because that's what you're telling me, not what I'm feeling. Sure. Right? Like, I don't see the relationship between Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan and Anakin to feel the stakes in this moment. So that lightsaber fight doesn't mean anything to me.
That's a good
It doesn't help that Anakin's been an annoying character the entire time. Anyway, I don't give a shit about him.
So I want to talk about one other thing about this lightsaber fight, is that this movie introduces something that kind of didn't really come back until Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi, and that is a mysticism. When Luke is on Dagobah and he's talking to Yoda, and then all of a sudden it's almost like the movie just goes into the ether, and all of a sudden he's just like, I feel cold. And you're like, what is where am I in another dimension all of a sudden? Like, where am I? And then we get, like, you talked about good lighting. Yoda is sitting there and he's not even looking up. He's just like waiting and he's thinking because he knows what's going to happen. And that shot, he is a real living being, Yoda. And then Luke leaves and then Yoda says, don't take your weapons. You won't need them. And he ignores him and he puts the belt on and then he goes into the cave and all of a sudden Darth Vader is there. How is Darth Vader there? And then he has the fight. And then he cuts off his head, and it's him in the mask, right? Now, when he goes to Dagobah, you remember the part where they get separated, and he's looking for Vader. He goes through a mechanical cave, and then he comes out, and then he's looking, and then he goes in, and we have a mirror shot of the exact same confrontation, except now the camera is from behind Vader, and then Vader comes in. It's like, oh my God, it is the scene. It's just that now this is the reality. First, it was a dream. It was a premonition. And you don't see anything like that until you get to The Last Jedi, right? Like that type of weird.
And I'm so happy that they don't explain it. Like, it's not a magical cave.
Yeah, like it's not like Yoda says, well, you learned how to be a Force ghost. No, it just, we don't have to explain it.
He makes us like a quick comment about the dark side being strong.
Yes.
And that's it. That's it. We can figure the rest out ourselves.
Yeah. And we don't even get like a conversation of him and Luke discussing it after.
No.
Like after the scene, we see this horrific shot of a decapitated Luke inside of the thing. And then we just cut back to him and Yoda, and he's
and
just
Yoda's just like looking down like, oh my God.
It cuts away. Like
it's, again, you see that as a kid or an adult, you're like, what the hell was that?
a kid's movie.
A kid's movie for 5-year-olds. But that's the type of thing you see in like a fairy tale or a myth where something weird happens, like somebody eats someone else or somebody kills someone else or somebody does something and you're like, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
But those are the stories that stay with you forever because you just think about them over and over again, right?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, this is the greatest movie ever made. So one of the things about this movie, we talked about the music. Holy moly. So the music in the first one was great. Somehow, is this John Williams' best score? Like it could be
up there. I think it's up there with Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I feel like
that's
Raiders and Empire are my two favorites. Like,
but like elevating you to another time and place.
Yeah,
right, Ian?
it's transcendent.
Yes.
And Indiana Jones is great. This is I'm never gonna put anything above this.
Yeah.
Every single musical theme is top notch. Like musical themes for the speeders on Hoth. Like everything gets its own musical theme, and every musical theme is the best music you've ever heard.
Yeah.
It's start to finish. It's insane how good it is.
Well, that's what I mean is I love the main Star Wars theme from the first movie, but in this movie you get the love theme. And when Han and Leia are in that little room and then the theme starts, you're just like, "Oh my God, what is happening?" Right?
Yeah.
You're transported. And it's the combination of that with the lighting, with the two great actors, with the realism of the set,
the script.
You are in a different world. You're in a different time and place.
Oh yeah,
right.
And then also too, like the fact that they kind of ad-libbed a lot of it, like they made it their own.
Yes,
totally helps and makes you believe this love story. It's not a traditional love story. Like it's Han and Leia's version of a love story. It's great.
And I think it gets people. I mean, we watched it in a room of 30 people, and I think it gets people every time. Like Carrie Fisher does such a good job with her character, and of course Harrison Ford. Everyone was Harrison Ford, but the way that they play off each other, and you're enraptured by their dynamic the whole movie. Every look they give each other, every line they exchange, all the interplay, the funny lines, and then when they get to that scene, I think everyone is on the edge of their seat waiting to see what's going to happen. Then they kiss. And then, of course, the comedy of C-3PO interrupting them, right? But then even like for anyone that hasn't seen the movie, even in 2025, when you get to that ending and they're putting Han in the carbon freeze and he's being lowered down and he says, "I love you," and she says, "I love you," and he says, "I know." I think everyone is like, what just, this is not a normal love story. This is, like you said, this is the Han and Leia story. Yeah. There's nothing like it, right?
And it's my understanding that Harrison Ford ad-libbed the "I know," which is absolutely brilliant. It would not have carried a tenth of the emotional weight had he said, "I love you too,"
You're right.
or something like that. But it works. It works because we have seen Harrison Ford chasing her the entire film. We know what his feelings are.
Yeah.
We don't need him to say it. But now she's tipped her hand and he's like, "Yeah, I know. I've known the whole time."
And it's like, even though I'm probably going to die, he's still
Han Solo.
I'm still Han
Harrison
Solo.
Ford is unbelievable in this movie. Like, it's not even just those moments. Like, obviously that's so iconic. I mean, they make mugs that say "I love you" and then the other one says "I know." You know what I mean? Like, it's so iconic. But even like random lines that don't really mean anything or are supposed to be throwaway, like, "I thought they smelled bad on the outside." Just the way he says it is, it's just a line in the script, but when he says it, it's like an iconic Harrison Ford Han Solo line. Nobody else could do it like that. Like,
what about when it's like, Captain Solo, Princess Leia is trying to get a hold of you. I turned it off. I don't want to talk to her. And he's like, well, we don't know where Luke is. I don't know where he is. Well, no one knows where he is. What do you mean nobody knows?
Yeah.
Well, why don't you go and find out? Why don't you go and find out?
It's beyond. He's beyond angry. He's annoyed.
Yeah,
he's annoyed.
The finger acting is unbelievable. Like so much of this movie, the pointing or like hushing C-3PO. He doesn't yes. Yeah, it's so good. Like it's brilliant.
And never mind the fact that it's a sci-fi or whatever fairy tale. Even if this was a World War II movie, the job that all the filmmakers do of making you forget you're watching a movie is top notch. Like you forget that you're watching a movie because of Harrison Ford's acting, because of the dialogue is so realistic, because the lighting is so good. Like when they go down, like they say that Star Wars is not a traditional sci-fi, it's more of like a space opera. But when they go down into the cave and then the Minocs are on the outside and then they come out with those little masks on, that is now like, this is science fiction. They're being attacked or whatever by these aliens, but Han Solo he's got the street smarts. Just what I thought, Minoc. He's been around. He knows what these are. Then he takes a shot at the ground, and they're inside a space monster.
But he already knows. He already suspects.
Yeah, he suspects.
Inside a space
so
monster.
he takes the shot. Yeah, and no one else knows but him. The cave is collapsing. This is no cave, right? Like we're in another world. Exactly. Like maybe this has been done in Flash Gordon and Valeria and the city of whatever it's called, but. This is it done right. Better music, better acting, better everything, right? I don't know. I mean, I could talk about this all day.
It's incidental that it's a sci-fi film.
Yeah.
It doesn't factor into anything other than that is the world where this story happens.
Yeah, it's a fantasy movie set in space.
Yeah, and that's why you could more easily compare this to like Lord of the Rings or something like that, or even something like Wizard of Oz. There's a lot of parallels to Wizard of Oz, right? It's just the fact that you're meeting this movie. Okay, we're going to talk about Jedi when we get to Jedi, but one of the things about this movie that Jedi unfortunately doesn't really do is this is the second movie in the series and we're in new worlds. Like now, okay, we were on a desert planet. Now we're on an ice planet. Then we're on a swamp world, right? Then we go to a cloud city. What? They're mining the clouds. What does that mean? When Luke is at his lowest point, he's hanging underneath this cloud city. That is brilliant, and so every step of the way, they're topping themselves. They've already done asteroids. They've already done desert planet. They've already done space station, and now they're introducing all these new ideas to it. The fact that in this one they're flying through an asteroid belt, going into the asteroids. Right? It's brilliant. I don't know.
Also, when I was a kid, I had one of those red, the Vespin ships.
Like nice.
The
biplane.
Yeah. Of course, I hadn't seen Empire at that point. I just knew it was a Star Wars toy. Didn't know what it was. That has nothing to do with anything.
No, but it's just, and that's the thing is that I think one of the quotes from the director Irv Kirchner was that a film should be like a dream that everyone in the audience shares, something like that. And I think he's right. And I think, and again, I'm comparing this movie to all the great movies like Casablanca and Wizard of Oz and Citizen Kane. This movie, when you really think about it, is like a dream. Like the ending of a movie when they're standing looking out the window and you can see like a galaxy in the background. That is one of the most beautiful shots I've ever seen in a movie.
And on top of that, it's like you have this like knot in your stomach,
right?
Because
it's a cliffhanger.
Yeah,
right. Absolutely nothing has been resolved.
Right,
nothing.
Yeah.
And I was saying this earlier. Is this the first movie in history to have a cliffhanger? I think it is, because there were serial films had cliffhangers. How could a movie before this? Was there ever a movie with a cliffhanger? I can't imagine one. I don't think there was.
I don't know.
This is the first one, and then years go by. Lord of the Rings kind of does it. Harry Potter maybe did it a little bit with part 1 and part 2.
Right.
But this is the first movie where they're like, no, we know we're doing a third movie, so we're going to end on a cliffhanger. Brilliant, right? And we're going to end with all of our heroes. Like one guy's captured, one guy's had his arm cut off, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's just brilliant. brilliant.
And they all kind of like go their
one
separate
guy's
ways.
dressed up like Han Solo for some weird reason.
Yeah.
Anyway, right? And okay, so the other thing, I'm trying to focus on things I haven't noticed before, right? Because this is like my 7 millionth time seeing this film. But for considering how the first movie throws you into action, this movie starts out actually fairly slow. Like opening up on a little bit of space, a little bit of wide shot of Luke just exploring. Then he has the encounter with the Wampa.
Right.
But it's still slow. It's still... And then we have, he goes missing. And then Han and Leia have their little thing. And then Han goes out. But there's like 20 minutes of no action. Right?
Not only is it 20 minutes of no action, for a film that takes us to so many rich worlds, we spend an awful lot of time on each one without jumping around.
Right.
It's a good 30, 40 minutes that the entire movie takes place on Hoth.
Yep.
And we don't know anything about anywhere else.
We also don't know why they're there.
That's a good point.
That's the one thing I was thinking about here. I'm like, I was like, why are we on Hoth? And I was grabbing a drink or something, I think, when the crawl was happening. So maybe they said something in the crawl, but
maybe someone knows. Maybe somebody in the world why they're not. I think they're just hiding. I think they're just hiding.
Like it's just a base.
Yeah.
So, and the Empire is just looking for them, and they happen to find them.
Yeah, like they're sending probe droids everywhere.
Yeah.
And they just happen to find some activity.
Yeah.
And so then, remember, they show Vader, and Vader's like, that's a system. That's where they are. Let's go. And he just knows. He has the feeling, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it could have been anywhere. But for dramatic purposes, they picked the opposite of a desert planet, right? So it's just beautiful.
And then when we get to those moments where there's like this huge battle on Hoth.
Pit on my stomach. Like when the camera's here and we just see the guys, like it's trench warfare. They're getting ready. And then you're like, okay, what's going to happen? Oh my God. And then they put up, and then you see, what the fuck? Imagine 1980. What the fuck is this? Who thinks of this? It's not a tank. It's not a Jeep. It's a fucking mechanical dinosaur.
What's so terrifying too is like we're discovering this as they're discovering this, right?
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
We don't see like a shot of the Star Destroyer coming down and then
unloading. Good point. Yep.
Where it's like silent.
Yep.
Like, what's gonna happen?
Even the music
people are
cuts
like looking at each other.
Yeah.
People are looking at each other.
Yep.
We see the shot of the binoculars, and then we're like this fucking
you're right.
Huge tank thing is, and it seems hopeless too.
Yes.
Like they're firing on it, nothing's really working. They've got to like improvise how to take these things down.
Great point. And because they've never fought them before. You know what else I love is all the actors are great because they're all British. But I love how when they're like reporting back to Vader, they're so matter of fact about it. Like they give the report and then they pull down the scope and they're looking through it. And there's one shot where they're looking through like the cockpit and you just see some guys and the cockpit's like moving because it's actually walking.
Right.
And it is so well done. But nobody is acting tough. Nobody's acting cool. They're just in a battle and they're just taking orders.
Mm-hmm. And they're absolutely confident that they're going to kick ass.
Right.
Oh, we got this.
Yeah.
We're going to take down the shield generator. It's right there.
Yep.
Look at all these walkers that we have.
And then I got to say, sorry, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, going off of like those guys being just like so like nonchalant about it. The one guy, after he sees his commanding officer getting choked out by Vader, now he's in charge. Yeah. He's like, well, we failed.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a shuttle to go apologize to Lord Vader.
And then he gets
cut to him and like die.
I know, yeah.
Apology accepted.
Yeah.
But I also love that I love that shot where all of a sudden it cuts and that commander or whatever, he's just talking to a snowtrooper. We've never seen a snowtrooper. The snowtrooper gets his commands, he turns around, and he walks off. Now, as a kid, you're like, who the hell? I know what a stormtrooper is. What is this? This is a new guy. And then
they don't have to explain it either.
They just
we don't have to have somebody go, they fly now.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, you're totally.
They go in the snow now.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
I forgot that's a thing that happens.
You're right.
Yeah.
Not that I hated that, but I get you. But I love when then all of a sudden they're down in the tunnels and all of a sudden there's an explosion, and then the music. Oh no, here comes Darth Vader. The snowtroopers run in. Darth Vader comes in, and then the snowtroopers are attacking the Millennium Falcon. But I love the way they put the camera way back here, and the Millennium Falcon is 100 feet away.
Yeah.
And you have to see them run. You're like, oh my God, are they going to make it? And then they're shooting, and then they run in, and they put that
like the turret,
down, and they load the gun in. It's like, what? This is they. And again, hey, I love Star Trek, but Star Trek doesn't have the budget that Star Wars does. And when they have guns, like in the Next Generation movies, it's like a plastic gun. Like, oh, it's cool. But in this movie,
we'll make a laser in post.
Yeah, we'll make a laser in post. But in this, they take the time to. It's a little bit more like World War I or World War II. No. We've got to carry the freaking thing in and put it down and load the thing. And in fact, the guys from the trenches. There's a lot of shots where like the giant cannons are recoiling, just like World War I. Oh, it's amazing, right? All that shit.
Although it does make me chuckle a little bit that when that scene where they're trying to build this cannon and it just gets shot and it explodes before they even it's not even done yet.
But I appreciate the attention to detail, right?
Yeah, me too. I think it's great.
I love it. We could do frame by frame for this movie, but okay, so then they go to it's funny because after this movie they started juggling plots. When you get to the end of Jedi, they're on the Death Star and they're in space and they're on Endor. But in this film, in the whole middle of the movie, they jump back between two things, which is Dagobah and then in space. When they get to the end of the movie, it's just on Cloud City.
Yeah.
And I like that focus because I remember rewatching it when I was like a teenager and going, this movie, the plot is kind of what?
It's
you're defensive all of a sudden.
They are jumping between just like the two different stories.
Yeah, just
the two different groups.
Yeah, just two.
Because it's not always on Bespin, right? Like it's also cuts back and forth when they're flying through the asteroid field and they're in the worm.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like the middle act is two things, and then the last act is one thing.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. But it's a very focused, and the plot of this movie it's very simple. Darth Vader wants Luke Skywalker. That's it. That is the plot of this movie. He chases him for 2 hours. That's it. I mean, and then there's other things that happen.
Other things happen that are in service of that or obstacles to that. But you're right.
And right?
Even when they're on Cloud City and they capture Han and Leia, like they don't want you. They're after some guy named Skywalker.
I don't know why. For some reason, I love that scene because, again, we have great writing and great acting, and even though the name Luke Skywalker is a little hokey and the name Han Solo is a little hokey, the way that what's the actor's name?
Billy D. Williams.
Billy D. Williams. The way he delivers it, they all believe it. They're in a real world. They're right.
Yeah, well, maybe we should talk about him because this is, I think, the only really new character. Yoda and Lando are new for this movie. Billy D. Williams as Lando is
perfect,
brilliant. He is so good. I love that he also has his like own way of talking, like even down to how he says the characters' names. Like, how you doing, Chewbacca?
Yeah,
like it's not Chewbacca. Chewbacca.
Yep. And he doesn't call him Han. He
doesn't call him Han. He calls him Han.
Yeah, Han.
The whole movie. It's great. I like it.
Nobody on set corrected him. Yeah, you're right.
Han,
it's just was it just like who gives a shit, or was it planned? I don't know. Right? Yeah. But no, you're right. He's great.
Yeah.
In fact, fuck it. I'm saying it this way.
Yeah.
But in fact, if it's almost like if there's one weakness of this movie, I wish the Bestman stuff was longer.
Maybe a little bit.
A little bit more, right?
Yeah.
Like give it 5 extra minutes or something. Like have a scene. Just give us 5 minutes where you let it breathe so that you think everything's okay.
Because there is this moment where a hand again with a hand. There's still maybe time to save Han. It turns out there is none, and there's never any chance of it at all. So maybe give us a little bit of a chance. Take 2 or 3 minutes to
something.
I also feel like I wish I had a little bit more time to buy that Lando's on their side. That's
what I'm saying.
Before the twist,
I want more. Like maybe they're hanging out. They have a dinner. They have a this. They have a that. And then you realize the whole time that he knew that Vader was already made the deal.
Yeah, because we're already all like suspicious, right from the start. So Yeah, I think if there was one tiny
Sure.
thing that I would change, might be that, but
Yeah.
not much.
Okay, there's one character we have to talk about. You said there was 2 new characters introduced. There's 3.
Lobo?
Boba Fett.
Oh,
Lobo Fett.
I'm sorry. Boba Fett.
Oh, okay.
Boba Fett. Boba Fett. Okay, this is the first and last time Boba Fett was cool.
yeah, it's true.
They
Huh?
effed him up in Jedi, and then they gave him a TV show and made him worse. Okay, so thanks to my cousin Mark Gilchrist, we watched the final cut tonight, and it looked incredible.
So good.
Incredible.
Describe what the final cut is to people that
The
might not
final
know.
cut is a combination of the original cut of the movie with some of the best parts of the special edition.
And I think some new shots.
There was one
So-
or two shots where I was like, I don't remember seeing that.
So one of my arguments for the specialized versions, I prefer the original, and I think we've talked about this before.
Yeah, I think we have.
I think that I don't mind some of the minor changes, like in Empire. In the specialized version, I like that they got rid of the old Emperor. Because that in the Emperor in the original one, it's not Ian McDermott.
It's a woman.
It's a woman in this like terrible looking mask.
I'm okay with it.
That's like long and like disfigured. If that's what
And
the
combined
Emperor
with baboon eyes.
and like the eyes were like
Yeah.
bulging and
And,
looking
like,
the
not
opposite way.
connected.
Like,
Yeah, okay.
if that's what the Emperor looked like in Jedi, then fine.
Sure.
Like, it's not the visuals of it; it's the inconsistency that I'm like, I don't mind if you're gonna.
And here's the thing: I can if I could negotiate, I could accept that.
Right.
But I think someone on our panel does not agree.
I do not agree.
Okay.
I do not agree. I don't think that it makes any difference that there's no continuity between how this distorted video character looks compared to this.
But it's not a distorted video character. It's a gigantic. The entire
Hologram.
room is just the face.
Yeah.
Sure,
And
but it's still a hologram. And then 3 years go by, and then we watch this next movie, and we've forgotten.
He got plastic surgery, I guess.
But
Well, okay, for the sake of the preserving the originals, I say leave it. But if you're going to change it to Ian McDormand, do not change the dialogue, which they did.
So in the specialized version, they during the filming of Revenge of the Sith, they filmed the scenes and then they put them into Empire.
Okay.
So Ian McDermott's already in the Emperor Palpatine wrinkly skin costume, and that's what we see in the specialized version. The issue is, again, it doesn't match the rest of the movies because he looks like he does in Revenge of the Sith.
Good point.
Which
good
does
point,
not
good
look
point.
like Jedi.
It's not quite. You're
In
right.
this version, he looks like he does in Jedi.
This is a third
This
version?
is a third version.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know.
I think that the person that made this somehow was
Called
able
up
to
Ian McDormand.
well, like somehow, like I don't know, through deep fake or
Yeah,
like
something.
what it is, but they finally got it right in this version. I was like looking around, like, oh my god, do you guys see it? And everybody's just.
No one gives a shit.
I was like,
yeah.
I was like, oh, they finally did it. Like
Okay,
it looks right.
interesting.
in
Okay,
my
I didn't
brain.
notice that.
disagree just because of the point that you made. Don't change the dialogue. I don't want to hear the name Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
Sure.
We didn't hear that before.
Because in the original version is we have a new enemy, Luke Skywalker. In the special edition, it's we have a new enemy, the spawn or the son of Anakin
Right.
Skywalker. And plus there's a little bit of other extra stuff, right? And that's what throws off the rhythm.
Yeah,
It's
it
too much
does throw off the
exposition.
rhythm. We don't need that.
Right.
We just need a little
Did
bit.
this version say Anakin Skywalker?
Oh yeah,
It
it
does.
did.
Okay.
Because I felt a disturbance in the force when he
boy.
said it. Yes.
Okay.
But here's the thing: is this kind of loops around back to my point about Boba Fett. This movie, I can accept all the changes. I can accept the new Wampa. I can accept even maybe the Emperor, but I cannot accept Jango Fett overdubbing
Morrison.
the lines of Boba Fett. Boba Fett only has 3 lines in the original trilogy, and now no one, like the average viewer doesn't even know what his original voice sounds like now. Mm-hmm. And George Lucas said, "Oh, people will forget about these original versions; they'll be forgotten." And unfortunately, he might be right. Unless he's not.
He's not going to be right. He's not right about that because of people like us.
Yes, we will preserve them.
Not so much people like us. People like the guy, because I think it's one guy that made this edition,
right?
That made the Final Cut version. You have people that are so insane about this sort of thing,
right,
that they will release a movie,
right? I know that they didn't make
because they're dissatisfied with the George Lucas cut,
right? But knowing all that, this is a 4K scan, and there's those people that are like. How good can it possibly look? It was filmed 40 years ago. Well, we saw it. It looked incredible. Mm-hmm. It looked beautiful. Okay, here's the thing. Remember that quote that I fed you guys last time about Lucas, where he said, I care about, taking a picture, but I'm not going to pay you $1 million to take a picture. Basically saying cinematography is not that important. Well, in this movie, I love A New Hope. But this movie ups the ante on everything, including the lighting. Like, we talked about the carbon freezing scene. The background is bluish. The foreground is all orange lights. Mm-hmm. They're all in silhouette. And their faces are lit in... It's beautiful. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's not like I love A New Hope, like when they're on the Death Star and it's like Three's Company lighting. That's fine. It's fun. But this movie gets everything right. The lighting on Yoda, on Dagobah.
Oh my.
Right?
So good. But when Luke finally does leave and he's having this conversation with Ben. The Force Ghost Ben just kind of disappears and everything goes dark as the X-Wing rises up and the light leaves. And then as the thrusters burst, we see like this ring of blue. And then as he leaves, it's like it turns to red. It's so
No, there is another.
good.
And if that was done in 2003, then Lucas would have been, well, no, we can do CGI now. Let's show a close up of the X-Wing flying through, the swamp and then leaving. No,
Yoda's doing flips to get to the top of the tree and see him go.
Right. We don't, and that's the thing is like, I don't want to get into it. Like, we just watched Superman and we liked it, but I don't need to see a CGI camera flying around the main character ever. I want to see this. I want to see the camera hold, and we hear the X-Wing, and we know it's leaving, and all we see is the blue light, and then it black, and then the red light. Why do we have to cut to it, right?
And the expression of a goddamn puppet that is somehow more emotive than half of the people in half of the movies that I've watched.
Yes.
100%. I feel like one of the things that kind of gets picked at in this movie is Yoda at the beginning when we were first introduced to him.
I love him.
It works so well for me. Even the way that Frank Oz is controlling him is like 2 different characters from when he's Yoda,
the body language,
when he's this little green guy, to when we're in the hut and Luke says, "You're Master Yoda," and the eyes change. Like, the second he starts talking to Ben, it's like his lids go from like this crazy thing, and then they just come down.
Absolutely, he's a totally different character.
So subtle. It's so good.
And go ahead. You want to say?
I was going to say that entire sequence, that entire environs. It just has so much like Jim Henson vibe to it, and it has the magic of a Jim Henson movie. And it takes us to an entirely different sort of a mental state.
Yes, right? Yes.
You almost feel like a kid watching it. Even as a grown up, your suspension of disbelief is total, right? You cannot be pulled out of this reality, despite the fact that you're looking at a puppet for a half an hour.
Yeah,
it is, and I mean, I don't care how far CGI has come. I don't care how far CGI is going. I don't think it's ever going to match that.
No.
Okay, so Dave Mamet has a really good quote about this, and he was not talking about Star Wars. He was talking about film and magic and religion, and he said the purpose of it, and this is a very strained quote. He said it relieves you of the burden of consciousness. And I barely know what that means, but I think you're touching on it.
Well, that's part and parcel with it, a movie being a shared dream that the audience sees together. They all go together.
But it's like you said, you feel like a kid because it is a puppet, but you forget it's a puppet. Yeah. It is a movie, but you forget it's a movie because of the music and the lighting.
Yeah. This time watching, I was when Yoda first comes onto the scene, I was looking on the ground because I know that they've built this entire Dagobah set up, a couple feet in the sky, so Frank Oz can be underneath the set controlling him the whole time. So I'm like thinking about that a little bit and like trying to dissect it, and I'm like, it's crazy. I know how they did it, but I still can't see it on the screen, and I'm like trying to figure out like these, like trying to look to find these different things, and then we kind of joked about it, the Yoda butt wiggling thing. Yeah. It's so funny, but then I was laughing, and then I'm like, wait, how did they do that?
Because where's Frank Oz?
Where is he? And not only, like, we kind of just see his butt wiggling, and I'm laughing, but then he backs up and turns towards the camera, and I'm like, what? How did he do that? That's just Yoda turning around. Like, there's, I don't get how the hands moved back, and somebody's hand is somehow in there puppeting it, and like his butt is wiggling. It's magical. It's so unbelievable.
You're right. It is magic, and like we criticize CGI all day long, and you're never going to do that with CGI. You're never going to wonder how they did it. With these films, like with Jaws, with this, with all these, like even Superman, you watch it and you're always going to be, it's like a magic trick. How did they cut? Yeah. How did they saw the girl in half? And with these movies, you just wonder how did they do that?
It's magical. And the puppets are a huge part of that for sure. There's a Muppets movie where Kermit is doing whatever. Yeah. And then we cut to kind of like this montage, and then we cut to him riding a bicycle, right? And it's like a close up of him with his hand, and then we cut away and we see the bicycle, and we see him pedaling and controlling it. And it's like, how is this possible? It's
those moments are magical, right? Yeah, of course. And this movie, here's the thing. I just rewatched Batman Returns, which I love. And I love Tim Burton. But there's moments in Batman Returns where you go, oh, yeah, okay, well, they're on a set. He's running through a set.
Yeah, it feels very
artificial,
much...
Which sometimes can be fine. Yeah. But in this movie, there's...
They flew to Dagobah.
They flew to Dagobah. Those were real Imperial Walkers. They're in space.
The Imperial Walkers. Now we're going to talk about Hoth for a second. I was blown away a little bit watching those Imperial Walkers as it's stop motion. Yeah. But the joints in the legs, those little cams that you see rotating around, and they follow the motion of the legs perfectly. Yeah. Perfectly. The speeders, when they're flying around, you see the ailerons and the flaps. They're moving as you would expect them to if this was a real craft flying. Everything about the special effects is just, there's so much attention to little tiny details.
But also when they're moving in the X-Wing or whatever they are, the ships, you notice the light, the shadow is moving with them. They would never have done that before this movie, right?
And just like the integration into like the actual shots, the Tauntaun, the stop motion Tauntaun running into the base, while there's real people in the base, like walking in front of the foreground. Like just the combination of it all is what sells it.
And then when Luke is riding it and they cut to the close up and it's breathing, you see the breath coming out. Like that's a real creature. That's 100% real. And like the actors in the scene sell it, like how casual Han Solo is when the ship's looking for them, and then he just kind of waves and he waves again. That helps sell it. Makes it feel like you're watching real people act, right? It's a combination of everything. It's perfect.
And they put so much focus, so much effort into making sure that when things move, they move in a realistic fashion. Right. Gravity. When you're doing stop motion, when you're doing, I don't know how these things are filmed when you're filming like a spaceship on a rig, but you have to make sure that it has inertia. right? If it turns, it doesn't just turn; it turns.
Yes,
right?
yes. Good point.
Yeah, the shots of the Falcon, it's like going in one direction and it goes there and then
No, there's a shot in this movie where the Falcon's flying and it just goes and it's still better than any other shot of the Falcon they've ever done. It's incredible. And that was
we can still outmaneuver him.
Yeah, I think that's the point. Yeah. And that was what's that called? Like when you shoot something against a background and then what is that called?
Matte composite,
yeah,
like green
it's
screen.
It's like okay, pass number 1, okay, pass number 2 with the black, okay, pass number 3, and it's combining it all later, and they're doing it for every ship,
Yeah,
and it's still flawless. Oh, I have to mention this too. This movie is the most profitable independent movie ever made because it was paid for out of Lucas's pocket.
Right.
Because he used the money he made from the first one to make this one.
Yeah, from the
so this
merchandise.
is where it begins, where the first one was owned by 20th Century Fox. So this is where now it's owned by Lucasfilm from this movie on, which is interesting. Interesting fact.
Yeah.
So he had total control over this film. We have to give credit, plot by Lee Brackett, script by Lee Brackett and Lawrence Kasdan, and plot also by George Lucas.
Yeah.
He had some say. Directed by Irv Kirchner. Produced by Gary Kurtz, and the film was so critically acclaimed and successful that Lucas never worked with those people again. He fired Gary Kurtz. I think he might have asked Irv Kirchner to come back, but Irv Kirchner didn't want to come back for some stupid reason. And so yeah, this is the peak. I mean, most people will universally say this is the best Star Wars film. I think A New Hope was the most innovative. Obviously, it caused the biggest splash, but this movie is better in almost every way.
Yeah, there was a lot of butting heads from what I hear for Jedi, particularly with Han.
Sure.
Like most everybody involved thought that Han should have just died in Jedi.
Really?
In Jedi, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which is, I think, why a lot of people didn't want to come back.
Interesting.
Yeah. Even Harrison Ford
Interesting.
was like,
well, I know
his
that,
story's done.
I know that Luke, we'll talk about this when we get to Jedi, but I know that Luke had thoughts about Jedi too. But I think that even if, for example, they offered it to David Lynch and he didn't want to do it, there's a million things they could have done differently. But overall, I think Jedi is a much more tired film. It's clear that there's an interview with Lucas from '83, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm only finishing it because I started it. I'm tired. I don't want to be here," and it shows. You know what I mean?
And
like,
it also has some serious toy commercial vibes.
100%. Yep. But we'll save that discussion for when we get to Jedi. We want to go on a high note because we love this movie so much, right? This is the peak, and again, this is like 80?
1980. Yeah.
It's like just at the, we had Jaws, we had Star Wars, we have Empire, we have Raiders, then we have E.T. This is like the peak of whatever you want to call this, fantasy cinema, like 80s. This is the peak as far as I'm concerned. I said earlier it's the greatest movie ever made. It's definitely the greatest, I'll call it blockbuster ever made, I think, in my opinion. It really is. It's my favorite. Yeah.
You just listed a whole shit ton of fantastic movies. And the early 80s was a magical time.
Yep.
For this sort of thing. It was very innovative. It was new technology. It was new concepts. It was people putting things onto film that had never been possible before, never been conceived of before. And for this group of people to get this movie so perfectly, it's absolutely magical.
And what a coincidence. It was exactly when we were growing up. And
aren't we lucky?
There's no connection between our opinion and but objectively, you agree, right?
Yeah, I was born 15 years after this movie, right?
So you're like, no, it was the best.
Yeah,
we are so lucky, right, to grow up like E.T., Poltergeist, Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Ghostbusters. These movies, it's like the golden age. Like it was an incredible time, right?
Yeah. I mean, so much so that I feel like for the worse, it's manipulating and kind of the reason why movies are the way they are today. Because they're trying to match that. They're trying to emulate that feeling you felt as a kid watching that for the first time in theaters.
Well, I think even Lucas, in all of his wisdom, has said, at least I tried to do something different with every movie. And now they're just doing remakes and sequels and
That's the one good thing that I can say about the Star Wars prequels is at least they were different.
Yep.
At least it was something that hadn't been tried before.
Yep.
Failed, in my opinion.
Yeah. And
But it was an attempt.
Yep.
And you got to respect the attempt because that happens so infrequently now, especially among big blockbusters.
Agree. So, okay, I mean, we could talk all night, but I think that's all we have to say. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, it is my pick for the greatest blockbuster ever made, and it's the best Star Wars film ever made. Anything else to say, Josh?
No, I agree. We were kind of talking before about our favorite versus the best Star Wars movie. I think everybody here had different opinions on what their favorites were. But I think universally, everybody was like, this is the best one. This is
Agreed.
by far, on paper, just close to the perfect film.
Yep, I agree.
So,
And with me personally, again, I didn't see this movie until I was quite a bit older. So there's quite a bit less nostalgia-driven feelings for me for this. I can look at it a bit more critically, I think, and I can't find anything wrong with it.
I'm with you.
To watch an entire film and to not be able to find anything wrong with it, except for the meddling bits.
Sure.
The stuff where people have tried to change it and tried to improve it.
Yeah.
Like, no. It was perfect the way it was. Stop it.
And I think they could add more here and there, but what's there is perfect, I think. And I think this movie gets better every time you see it.
Agreed, 100%.
Yep. So that's it. We want to thank Champion for hosting movie night
thank you so
every
much.
week.
Anytime.
Oh my
Thank
gosh.
you. Thank you.
We have so many good movies coming up.
Just not as good as this.
No, just not as good as this one. This is the best one.
Yeah.
And Josh, where can you find our episodes?
you can find all of our stuff over on our website at comicbooksyndicate.com. You can also find the video formats on our YouTube channel, so check us out there. What's your favorite Star Wars movie?
And I just wanted to say to our audience, I love you.
They know.
They know.